On Saturday, Apex 100 came and went, and the big story was the Nerd Crew, once again, reigning supreme. This time it was Carlos Prates, and I want to bring in the guys and talk to them about that because I know they were all very excited. I mean, we covered UFC Apex 100 probably more thoroughly than UFC 300, dare I say, a few months back. And so I mean, it was in-depth coverage. Honestly, guys, I've watched it all. It's one of the weirdest knockouts I've ever seen. Carlos Prates defeats Neil Magny, and it's a huge win for him, and he has arrived, and he's a great character, and that whole team is great. But anyone else feel that, like, I'm not suggesting any sort of foul play. I'm not suggesting any sort of chicanery. I saw the slow-mo. It seems to, like, graze him here. And there was another fight on Friday. It was a Fight Pass event. I think it was LFA where there was a spinning wheel kick and the kick grazed the guy's forehead. And sometimes those are the worst shots. But that was weird stuff, was it not? I mean, let's go to GC first because he's Mr. Apex. When you were watching that, did you not think like, what the hell just happened here? Did he slip on a banana peel?
Yeah, when you watch it in full speed, it does kind of look like that. But when you rewatch it in slow motion, I guess you can see where it hits him on the temple. And I mean, Carlos said after the fight, when I land, people go to sleep. So I guess he just hits that hard.
Impressive stuff. To beat Neil Magny, when was it? 450 of the first round. A guy who's that durable. Michael Malott obviously recently had some trouble with him. My question to you, PT, is Carlos Prates, is he a legit player now at 170? He is. It is incredible. He has 6 losses on his record, but all of those were a long time ago. Now he's on a roll in the UFC. He has not lost in the UFC. He won on the Contender Series. He's won his last 4 fights in the UFC, all via stoppage of some kind in the first or second round, beating the likes of Li Jingliang and Trevin Giles as well. Do you consider him an actual player or not quite yet?
I actually think he's right on the cusp of being in that, is this the new generation of challengers kind of list that we talked about last week. You know, I think the JDMs of the world, the Sean Brady's, the Ian Garys are all ahead of him. There's no doubt about that. But immediately after that result, I was thinking like, maybe one more fight before we start considering this guy in that mix. And I think he's got a really exciting style that's going to appeal to the UFC too. Like we were talking about this last week as well. It's not simply sport anymore. There's a massive emphasis on entertainment, and this guy has it all in that regard. He's got a really intriguing character, and he's got a brilliant style to watch. So I think he's probably one fight away from being in that mix where we're saying I'd like to see him fight one of the top guys in the division.
Rick, he talked about Jack Della, and then on the post show he was like, "Oh, I hear you, Usman, are going to fight Jack Della," and I've heard of that as well. I don't know if it's happening. And
sounded like it was news to Usman.
Well, I think he was playing a little bit.
Yeah.
But also, at this point in his career, I don't see Usman flying to Australia to fight Jack Della Maddalena. Unless they like really sweeten the pot for him, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I would love to see Carlos against Jack Della if Usman doesn't take that fight. Is that too soon for him, in your opinion?
No, definitely not. He feels like a finished product. Maybe not even finished. Who knows what the levels can be? But he feels like he is a work in progress that is able to rise to the challenge. Not dissimilar to Jack Della. Like Jack Della had to kind of get some of those wins to quote unquote arrive, but I feel like he's right there. I would love to see that fight. Now, there's an argument to be made that welterweight kind of needs some new blood, and maybe you keep them apart, right? You would almost hope that maybe he gets somebody who is a veteran. And so that you're not killing off 2 guys who are potential rising prospects and not having fought for the title yet. But on paper, as a fight, I love that fight. I would watch the hell out of that. To be honest, I'd watch either of those 2 against anybody. So to pair them together feels like a can't miss situation.
Currently, as we sit here on a Monday, he's not even ranked, Carlos. Now
he belongs there.
Yeah, Magny is 15, Luque is 14, MVP is 13. Michael Morales is 12, Thompson 11, Jeff Neal 10. I mean, 170 is, it's pretty stacked. The top half doesn't fight as often as they probably should, and that leads to not a lot of movement. And so I have a hard time seeing them make that Jack Della fight, but F it, I'm in. The guy's fun. And it's interesting. You watch him on the same night as you watch Boots Ennis, for example, and like, in my opinion, Boots does nothing. Like I was watching the post-fight interview and the post-fight press conference with Boots, and he's I want to talk to Eddie about this as a promoter. Like, he's just so apathetic. He doesn't do anything really, it feels like, to sell himself. And he's a fun fighter, and I don't think that was his best fight. And then you couple it with a guy like Carlos, who, English isn't his first language, but he's got the look, he's got the glasses, he's got a gimmick, he talks a good game, he backs it up. This is so important now with so much fighting available to us. You have to give people a reason to be like, oh, that guy sticks out. Oh, that's a guy that I want to follow. That's a guy that I want to, hitch my wagon to and be like, okay, this is my dude, and I'm gonna watch him, and I'm gonna go out of my way to check out his stuff every time he fights. You got to give people a reason to care, to be emotionally invested. And seeing those two fights almost back to back, and then seeing how Carlos handled the aftermath and how Boots handled the aftermath. I know it's not apples to apples, and one's a bigger draw than the other. I just think it's so important, and I love what he's doing. And by the way, tomorrow he'll be on the program for the first time, so I'm looking forward to having him on. Overall, were you happy, GC, with how they handled UFC Apex 100? Did it have
was a
the
dream,
pomp?
man. It was a dream.
Did it have all the bells and whistles, the pomp and circumstance that you were looking forward to?
No, actually, it lacked all of that, which is exactly what I was looking for in UFC.
Did they do anything, by the way?
No.
Like, there was no even...
I didn't notice anything that was like...
There wasn't a highlight reel?
No commemorative video, from first to last. I guess you just got that on Thursday on the Boys in the Back, just taking a trip down memory.
By the way, I do have to give you guys a shout out. I mean, that was incredible.
I mean, that was a point of pride. That was a labor of love getting to do that. It was fantastic. One thing that did come out of it, did Carlos Prates enter his name into a Fighter of the Year ring? 4-0, 4 knockouts?
It's a we've had this a couple times. Like, remember last year, Lupe Godinez?
Yeah.
Wasn't the knockouts, but it's like, it's a weird thing when someone gets that many wins, maybe not on the highest level or the most high profile fights. They deserve a mention, but they never get it. You know what I mean? Like,
and Kevin Holland had 5 wins.
I was just gonna say,
incredible year that could potentially be lost to the sands of time, if he doesn't become a champion or something.
I'm putting you on the spot here. How many people do have 4 wins in 2024?
Cerrone has as well, I think.
No, this year.
Sorry, in 2024. Oh,
yeah,
2024. I don't know.
Because that's what I mean. Like, he could. There's a world where it's like the Alex Pereira Ilia Topuria debate, and then the next guy is Carlos. Which, by the way, who would have predicted that a year ago, right? So it's not a bad spot to be in.
He hadn't even made his actual UFC debut a year ago. He had just won on Contenders.
Right.
It's crazy.
So there is a world where he's on the short list, but you're not being serious, right?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I say that.
No, but
I mean 3-0 Alex Pereira in title shots is over 4-0 fighting unranked guys.
To even be an honorable mention to an honorable mention, though, tells you where he is for prospect of the year, rookie of the year, whatever award, and ends up being in that category, almost being a shoo-in.
He's certain mentioned honorably.
100%, and that to me is a victory in its own right. So that was a great win. Can I say, as happy as I was, or as impressed, I should say, as I was by his performance, I was not so blown away with RDR.
Yeah, he struggled.
What do you think?
Jaron's good, man. I know. UFC jitters, debut. I think you give him. Look, he found the submission late in the fight. You give him the next one to kind of really make the analysis.
Fighting on Apex 100, that's definitely a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the pressure of fighting on
Apex
100.
Also, I mean, GM3 is a submission specialist as well, so maybe it's just
also to go from fighting in front of billions of fans watching one to just a lowly UFC.
That might have been the craziest thing that came out of the fight, is the things he had to say about one.
By the way, can I tell you, the amount of times one was mentioned in his walkout, were you not surprised?
I was, yeah.
They mentioned one 3-4 times. And it's crazy because you watch the countdown show, and once again, they completely cut Ngannou out when talking about Stipe. They even go to a shot where his face is not they don't mention him, of course. They skip over it like it was a blip on the radar. And then on Saturday, they mentioned one 3 times.
Isn't that the indictment, though? When they're
no so far
see you as a
behind
threat that you're just so mentionable now.
They're now Jungle Fight to them.
Exactly, you're a regional promotion.
Yeah,
if that
Jungle Fight.
They're Cage Warriors to them.
Yeah,
they're LFA.
Too far.
Not a good.
Sorry.
Take it easy.
Will they say PFL? Who's come over from?
Hell no.
No.
Kayla, did they mention PFL?
That's a blood feud now. PFL,
no, what they do in those
PFL.
cases is they always say another promotion. They're a champion in another promotion.
Yeah.
I wonder if Carlos Leal, when he was making the walk, they mentioned it.
I know in the post-fight interview, I noticed BLB mention another promotion, but but in the broadcast, like I think Brendan said one championship.
Yeah.
You guys, that went over your head, right?
BLB?
Yeah. All three. I could see the puzzled look on your face.
I didn't want
I
to
don't
get
know.
embarrassed like Pizzi did last
Yeah.
week. I didn't want to.
I'll do it. What are we talking
and
about?
Be like, oh, this guy doesn't know BLB.
And I didn't misspeak. Some might have thought I was saying BBL, not BBL.
No, I thought you said BLB.
He's got up under the lingo because he's doing this influencer show.
One of my kids, I was looking at his fantasy league, and one of his opponents, like his classmates, their name is BBL, and I'm like, do you even know what BBL? I learned what BBL was on this show. Who was it? It was with Ian Gary. Someone called them. MVP.
Michael Venom Page. Yeah.
But no, this is not BBL. This is BLB. Bootlicker Bisping. Come on, guys. Come on. He said one promotion.
I had no idea what we were talking about.
He wouldn't dare. He wouldn't dare.
Said another promotion.
I thought you guys knew that.
No.
I might have.
I'm pretty sure Frank was the one who came up with it.
Absolutely.
For
Put a
sure.
target on my back, Ariel. That's fine.
Yeah, it's Frank at PH. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I mean, that might be enough right there.
What is BBL?
That is. You have to throw him under the bus.
PT, what do you think of RDR?
Yeah, I was the same with you. A bit underwhelmed by the performance, and that's no disrespect to the Mershard. I guess it's just where we had him, in terms of, he was one of those guys, and it very rarely happens when you're not in the UFC that people start saying, I think this guy could, challenge the best middleweights in the world. I don't think that performance gave me that impression, but I'm with Rick on this. You can do a lot better than your first performance. Most important thing to do was win, and then shit on the promotion you used to work for, so you can win.
Oh yeah, what about that? How about that? Tell us about that in the post-fight interview, right? In the post-fight presser.
Yeah, and I mean this is something that's been quite common with even the biggest names. I saw the great Guilherme Cruz, the Brazilian Beast. He was sharing out about Bibiano Fernandes when he left the company and said, like, look, I was frozen out. I need a way to earn. And that was pretty much what de Ridder said as well afterwards. It was an incredibly stressful time for his family when you weren't getting an opportunity to earn. Like, look, we've had questions about a lot of guys in one. We've mentioned them on this show, like, oh, what happened to that guy? I know Roberto Soldic didn't have the best run with the promotion, but it's still a guy that's a massive commodity in Europe, and we really don't know what's happening with him at the moment. So I think that's a really bad look when, if you're in the fight game, you have fighters, like very well-respected fighters, some of the best fighters in the world, saying, if you're a fighter, you should not go here. That is not a good sign for one championship.
Yeah, in the post presser scrum, whatever you want to call them, RDR just flat out saying, if I can give you any piece of advice to any fighter out there, if you're considering signing with one, do not do it, is one of the biggest indictments that we've ever seen of the current state of one championship. And, he had a nice little run there, two-weight world champion, all that stuff, but was on the sidelines for quite some time. That was, and he says it with a smile, like he seems like a very nice, mild-mannered guy. So you don't really know, like, what kind of, I don't know, animosity or vitriol
like a
attached to
relief,
it.
though.
Yeah.
For me, like the smile is like, thank God I'm here. Thank God I'm after winning.
But did you guys see, you guys saw Casey O'Neill's tweet as well?
I did not.
Someone tweeted about RDR saying that, and she quote tweeted it saying, advice for young fighters everywhere, to be honest, do not, all caps, sign with ONE FC. The contract is a jail sentence for your career.
Wow, she wrote this.
Yeah.
Wow.
On her Twitter.
Okay, well, this is not good. Maybe that's why they're mentioning them. That is not good. We did see some history, though, on the card, in addition to it being Apex 100. Jillian Robertson with the first 12-6 elbow. Yes, it was to the, I believe, buttocks of Luana Pinheiro.
Buttocks.
Yeah, the way you said that it was as if
That was
you
Forrest
never
Gump
said butt
in the
before.
buttocks.
Buttocks.
Trying
That's
to
going into
keep
the
it a little
buttocks.
classy here.
Keeping it scientific.
My question is for Andy Foster: if this would have been 2 weeks ago, is that illegal? Like, is 12-6 to the buttocks illegal, or was it just to the head and spine? I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's an interesting way to go about.
I think all that matters is that it's
12 to
12-6.
six.
You know,
She
it
went
doesn't matter where it's
straight.
going.
She went
straight into the crack, baby.
Um,
Use the weapons you've got.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was one of the most talked about things from the card. A card that was hit with a ton of bad luck and injuries. There were a bunch of stoppages, but it was nothing really to write home about, I would say, right? Other than
There
maybe
was a lot of squash matches on that card.
I wrote home about it.
You told the parents back in Georgia about it?
Told the parents. Snail mail. They
Your
should
daughter.
hear. They should hear
over
about it in a
12 to
few
6
days.
elbow.
Yeah. You'll never believe. 12 to 6 to the buttocks. It was unbelievable. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor. Hit that sub button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.